For our intending cabin crew members, you probably do not know that even after being a cabin crew, there could still be a career progression. Some of you along the line might even decide that, okay, you want to go ahead and take charge of this aircraft. Why remain in the cabin and attend to only the passengers? You just might decide, well, if I'm going to be on board this plane, I might as well do the flying myself. So indeed, we have had situations where, in the past, cabin crew actually decide to, go ahead and apply to flying school, and they have gone, to become pilots, captains within the industry today. We do have a few of them today here present. In fact, indeed, we have a male and a female, which is a very good representation. So I would like to invite them to come and just give us a little talk about this career progression. If you permit me, I'd like to call on the female first, an amiable looking lady by the name Joanne Obasi. Once a cabin crew, now a pilot. Isn't that beautiful?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, distinguished gentlemen. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I came a bit late. I just came back from a flight this afternoon, but I had to be here. I was really looking forward to meeting all of you. The name is Joan Obasi. I fly with Arik Air, and I fly the 737. And I've been flying for the past, thank you. I've been flying for the past 4 years, and maybe you guys don't know, I used to be a cabin crew. I worked as a cabin crew for about 7 years with a Nigerian airline, and before moving on to become a pilot. Okay, so career progression from being a cabin crew to a pilot. I'm just going to speak on a few points, and I'll let one or two people ask me questions. So I'll start with, I've introduced myself. The second point is conviction. First of all, you need to know what you want. Do you really want this? There's so many aspects of the aviation industry, not just being a pilot. We have PSAs, we have people working in crew control, ground instructors, and for me, I chose to become a pilot. I was convinced that that's what I wanted, and I went on with my dream. And the second point is determination. When I decided that I wanted to be a pilot, I had people try to convince me that it's not the right thing to do. It's not that they don't love you, they do, but they're thinking, oh, it's very expensive. How are you going to manage this dream of yours? Or they tell you, as a lady, you should actually be thinking of getting married, not thinking about being a pilot, So I even had some of my friends organize an intervention. After I told them I wanted to be a pilot, I came back from work one day. There were like 4 people waiting for me, and they're like, Joan, come in here, we're waiting for you, sit down. And they started with, please advise her, at this age, she wants to go and start doing pilots, and all the men will run away. But I was convinced that that's what I wanted, and I was determined, about my dream, so I didn't allow that deter me. And the fourth point is preparation. When you decide that you would like to be a pilot, there are certain things you must do to prepare yourself. I just noted a few points. I did ask questions. I did speak to other pilots that I look up to, and they gave me advice on what to do and how to go about it. And first of all, medical. Before you start putting in money, you have to be sure that you can actually pass the strict medical exams to become a pilot. And so I had to go for a medical first before applying. And then finances. You need to check your finances, the source of finance, because to be a pilot is not cheap, but it is possible. And then location for your training. We have schools in Nigeria, in Zaria, we have in South Africa, we have in the US. I did my training in the US, in Florida. So you have to ask questions, you have to find out what you really, which is better for you, depending on how much you have. And the fifth point, stay positive. I just have 10 minutes. I might not be able to tell a whole lot of stories, but like I said, there were lots of challenges. So I would say stay positive, and I'm talking about all-encompassing, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. You know, I traveled to the US for my training, and you know how the US is. When you don't have family, you are on your own. So you must encourage yourself. I mean, there are days when you feel like giving up, but you have to speak to yourself. And that's why I say spiritually, because the good thing is, you know, I believe in the Word of God, so I use that to encourage myself and strengthen myself. And emotionally, when I decided to go for this training, my mind was focused on what I had to do. You know how it is as a cabin crew. In your uniform, you're always slaying, your hair is looking good, your nails and everything. You know, when I was a cabin crew, some people know how I was. But you know, when I decided to go for the pilot school, I didn't even bother about that. I met a few people who knew me as a cabin. They're like, Joan, your hair, your nails. I mean, I've never seen you like this. You didn't make your hair, you didn't care about your nails. I'm like, I know what I came here for. So, you have to stay positive, because you would have challenges along the way. I'll just tell you a story. I remember when I first got to the school, and I started with my instrument training. That's when you learn to fly with the equipment, you know, without seeing where you're going. Sometimes they even give you like the visor to block your view, and you just fly with the instrument. They block everywhere, so just fly. That was a very tough time. It was so easy there were some people in the class with me, and you know, all these boys that play video games, and it was so easy for them. I mean, I was wondering, like, God, how do you guys do this? Like, my hands weren't fast enough, you know, that kind of thing. It was a bit hard. But you know what I did? I went home, I borrowed some simulator, just a small simulator from a friend of mine. I went home and I practiced it with it for like 5 days. When I came back, my instructor was like, Joan, what did you do? Like, I didn't come here to play. And you must ask yourself, how bad do you want it? You have to fight for what you want. I'll speak on some of the hurdles that I faced during this transition. The first at the beginning was procrastination. I worked as a cabin crew for like 7 years, and all that time I knew I had a dream to become a pilot, but I always gave myself excuses. It's always, oh, who will take care of my parents? Oh, I have to do this with this money, or to be a pilot, I think it's a lot of science subjects. You know, am I sure I'm ready to do this? So that was the first step. You know, when I decided, okay, now I'm gonna do it and I don't care, and I went ahead. Then the second was when I got to the school. You know, when you haven't worked, you haven't studied seriously for anything for the past 7 years. You know how it is, and then you go back to school, and then you have to do something a bit technical. I'm a graduate. I did business management, so you can see the difference. And then now you have to do something totally different from what you know. You know, it can be very difficult. I will tell you one experience I had. There was a day that I walked from here almost to, like, the distance I walked was like almost to Ikeja bus stop on my own while I was in the US. I was talking to myself and I was crying. I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. I didn't come this far to go back. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna win. You know, I was speaking to myself because you know how it is when the generator is all cold. 6 months you haven't used a car or a generator, then suddenly you want to start it. Now it gives you a hard time. Before it starts, it's like, so that's how it was for me, for my brain. It's all chilled, taking a nice cold wine and relaxed, enjoying myself. Then suddenly now I have to start studying, so much. So that was one of the hurdles I had to face. Then the third one was finances. Like I said before, determination. My initial training, I came up with most of the finance because I worked for 7 years. I saved up. I sold my car. And you know something? You don't sell your car and empty your account for something you do not have a passion for. You don't go telling someone to help you when even you do not believe in your dreams. That's why I said first you have to have the conviction. I want to do this and I'm determined. And when you speak to someone and the person can see like, oh, she's serious, and then, hey, I have this, I've saved up this much, I need you to help me with the remaining. Then you're serious, not, oh, I have nothing, please help me. Do you understand what I mean? So even if you can't get to your dream right now, I mean, being the cabin crew might just be the starting point to what you actually want. You can actually get there, like I did. You save up, you plan towards it, and it can actually, you can get to that destination. Then the next hurdle was, changing the perception in terms of people around me. When I got back, worked as a cabin crew, now you're in the flight deck. People are watching you, oh, she's still humble, things like that. So I had to those some of the challenges I faced, and then working with maybe you work with captains that used to serve coffee. Now you're sitting in the flight deck with them, and they are still looking at you like, okay, are you sure you shouldn't be serving coffee? I think it's better. But no jokes. Someone said that to me. So that's why I said, I knew what I wanted. I didn't care. There's some people. Someone told me one day, some people are born to be pilots. Don't blame yourself. Some of us are born to be pilots. They come from families of pilots. So they are, and I told him, I just smiled and I'm like, no one is born to be a pilot. No one is born to be anything. You work towards it, and you train for that position. So I'm encouraging you all, whatever you decide to do, not just being a pilot. The aviation industry is a very big one. There's so much that you can do. I would urge you to to find out more about these different sectors in the aviation industry. That's why a forum like this is very good, because as they teach you, you get to know some of these things. So you can decide that from being a cabin crew, I would like to move on to become a pilot. Maybe that would be nice. We need more female pilots, and even also the guys as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, SFO Joan. She obviously did not come to play. Oh, Femi is now giving us that his walk now. Interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was beautifully done. Can you give the lady another one round of applause? She's indeed a testament for, the aspiring cabin crew. You could actually begin to nurse the idea of taking that career to another level. In fact, I could tell from the moment she started speaking, I could tell that she trained in the US. Did you hear the way she pronounced the word Florida? After all the training there, they come back with some kind of an accent. I had a friend who went to South Africa to train. Eric crew with no Remita. He came back with a little of some South African accent as well. But what about the people that go to Zaria? Perhaps if John trained in Zaria, you hear something like, hey, this is Captain Joan. Guess here we are flying at 35,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, if your car is a Honda Accord,